But our next brother is a young brother, very strong young activist brother, and I heard him speak at, Brother Derek invited this brother to speak at the Jordan Baker rally downtown. Man, and the brother came so strong, and him and Anthony Colley and others are some very distinguished young men that are up and coming in this movement. So I want to invite our young brother to say a few words of empowerment to us this morning. So I want you to please receive our brother Caleb Taylor.
First, giving all praise and glory to God. It's an honor for me to be here, and I want to give a special shout out to Brother Jesse Muhammad for giving me this opportunity to speak. I won't be before you long. I didn't write a long speech because I feel like we don't need a long speech. If you don't understand why this is the season to take action, then clearly you haven't been paying attention to what's going on around you. Right. Clearly you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in this country. And so I won't speak before you long. But one thing that I want to stress today is unity. A wise man once stated, even if a unity of faith is not possible, a unity of love is.
All right.
Although there may be some ideological differences, some differences in beliefs, there should never be anything that divides us. There's more that unites us always than divides us.
That's right.
Whether Christian or Muslim, young or old, male or female, light skin or dark skin, perm, weaved or natural. We are all connected to each other. We are all go through the same things. We are all have been unjustly treated in this country, and so we should all stand together to fight for justice and freedom. If a non-melanated officer oversteps his bounds, we all stand the same chance of never being vindicated in this injustice system. Now more than ever, it is time for us to stand together. Our love for ourselves and our people should outweigh anything that tries to divide us. And so now, like the sister stated, we're supporting black-owned businesses during this Christmas season. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan said that it's time for us to redistribute the pain.
Right.
Recently, I'm not sure if you all have seen it. It's been in the news. A sister, one of our sisters, she's the CEO of Sam's, and she was saying that she was complaining that her staff is always diverse. She has people from all walks of life. And they went and had a meeting with a supplier, and it was all white males. And she was saying that, we need diversity in the workplace. And online, the comments were completely just saying that the lady was racist, saying that, we need more white males in the corporate arena. And what I saw a lot of white people were commenting saying that they were going to keep their money away from Sam's. They said they weren't going to spend another $1 in Sam's. They wasn't going to give Sam's Club another dime. And so it was interesting because they were mad from a comment that she made, a statement that she made. But as African Americans, as black people, as minorities in this country, we have had bloodshed in our communities, and we continue to spend our money with these companies and these entities that continue to oppress us. And so I urge you and I encourage you all to take a page out of their book. We shouldn't spend a dime with anybody that's not claiming that Black Lives Matter, and not only claiming it, but putting actions with the words. And so once again, I ask you to just remember that there's more that unites us than divides us. It's okay to disagree, but we shouldn't disintegrate. And lastly, I just have one more thing to say. Like my brother always says, we are all that we got. We're all that we got, but with God, we're all that we need.
Another round of applause. Come on now. Sister Keisha and Brother Caleb have set the tone for today. So with that again, we want to invite and welcome you all again to the 'Tis the Season Community Prayer Breakfast. Now on the table, you see some information, and I think Caleb just took mine. You see some information here. Brother Caleb mentioned, and we're going to go into even more details about it. But these are packets of information for you to look at and review in regards to a 1963 copy of the Jet magazine where Dr. King and others were calling for a boycott of Christmas after the 1963 Birmingham church bombing.
That's right.
And also you will see this letter from James Baldwin, Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee, our brother Gordon, Louis Lomax, and John Killeen, where they were supporting and backing in this boycott of Christmas as fellow artists and actors and writers. And also, of course, we have the information about the No More Bloodshed that will be mentioned by one of our speakers real soon. So we got some information that we want to arm you with to let you know that we have historical context to what our brother Caleb just mentioned, and that it's not something new, but it's something whose time has definitely come. So now the next presenter here, we want to talk about the local organizing committee that's happening. And there's a lot of strategic action that has been taking place. Many thought that 10-10-15 was just a moment. They didn't think anything was going to come out of it. But the fact that you're sitting here proves them wrong. So I want to bring up our beloved brother who's been serving as the chair of our local organizing committee. And he'll tell you about it and how you can get involved with the action. That's our beloved brother, Student Minister Eric
I'd like to ask brothers and sisters real quickly before you to talk about the local organizing committee. You know, the local organizing committee was established right after the Million Man March. And we came back to the city of Houston and around the country, and we began to organize with various gifts and talents of our people throughout the community. But here it is, 2015. And the LOC from that point, from 1995 through 2005, we let it die. But now, brothers and sisters, it's time that we have to pick back up the LOCs. And as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stated, we must not let the local organizing committee die. Right? So the local organizing committee was established to mobilize and organize our people locally as an organizing movement for change. I want you to say after me, this is not a moment.
This is not a moment,
but a movement. So the local organizing committee is just that. It's a movement of our community from a colony where our social, political, economic, educational power is coming from the outside, but not from the inside. So the local organizing committee is to move us from a colony to a nation where we control our own social, political, economic, educational environment. So the local organizing committee is comprised of community leaders, grassroots activists, youth, and students. We want to give a shout out to one of our schools, the Elevated Places, who are here. Let's give them a round of applause, our youth. Because it's about moving from theory into practice. So our students can see, and all of us can see, that we're building a world. We're building a world. We're building our own government. So students, religious leaders, we call them scriptural scientists. We can't leave out our business leaders, educators, also, and etc., who are inspired and willing to work together with the focal point of the health and welfare of our community. So brothers and sisters, it's important that we don't let others, we just come out of a local election, that where was our agenda? Where was our agenda to put before those who were running? As a community, we have to mature politically, economically, socially, educationally. We have to mature to begin to think from an agenda that we established. So I want to quote a tweet from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It came out in November, but this particular tweet, even though it came out in November, has been the basis of the local organizing committee. It says, once you see what your unity can produce, then that victory will cause you to want to stay united, stay in unity for the next level of this struggle. So we saw a victory. The LOC started out, as Reverend Fanah put it, with 5 people. We started with 5 people back in May, I believe it was. And here it is, December, and we met every Tuesday to organize ourselves. And many of us had jobs, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, but we didn't let that stop us. We said, you know what? regardless of other activities we have on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, we have to allow time for Tuesday nights to come and continue to organize. So we started with 5 people. But along the line, a sister came in with her husband, and I was moderating the meeting, and we found out she was a project manager. And I said to myself, well, what am I doing? Right? I said, sister, what is she? She said, I just came to be with my husband. Right? And I was going to take my husband. I said, well, you got a new job now. Right? So along the way, God has always sent people in to help us continue to move forward. Yes. So now we went from 5 people to a database of over 500 people. Wow. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Because Texas Southern went to work. The students at Texas Southern went to organize and mobilize and sign people up for justiceforelves.com. Right? Prairie View went to work. Yeah. Right? Then within the local organizing community, we went door to door, continuing to work, to organize, to get people to come in. So now we have a consistent movement every Tuesday of 40 or more people, with new people coming in every Tuesday to be a part of us. And let me show you how massive this is with the social media piece. That an individual was living in North Carolina. He decided to move to Houston. He contacted us, went to justiceforelves.com, contacted us, and said, man, where are you all meeting? I want to be down. Wow. Right? Just because the way we're organizing on a national level, right? But now we know all politics are local. So now, brothers and sisters, the work that we've done leading up to 10-10-15 and beyond, we started out, we had 3 buses, 1 from Prairie View, 1 from Texas Southern University, and 1 out of the community to go to 10-10-15. That's what we're talking about. Let's give that a round of applause. 3 buses to come from the south, southwest, 3 buses, right? And cars and planes, and we know, right? So also, brothers and sisters, with that, we've been going door to door. We've distributed, we went out to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We distributed now over at least 10,000 flyers within the community. Now now this will be our 4th, I believe our 5th peace walk, that's coming up. So we're working. 'Tis the season to take action, brothers and sisters. And I will conclude with this tweet from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he said, victory will be ours if we stay the course. Justice will come. Freedom will come. The movement will not end. Justice? Yes. Up with Jesus, down with Santa. Thank you all very much.
Brother Rob, you see Brother Eric got the top memo. I don't know if he went to the same store as me yesterday or something. We didn't buy it though. We boycotted. Somebody gave it to us.
So I want you to please receive our beloved sister Sakia.
I bring greetings on behalf of our student, Sister Captain Valerie of the Southwest region. She was unable to be here, but she asked me to cover down, and I am so thankful and honored to be before you on today. Now, she gave me instructions, and I'm going to follow them out to the T. Now, I'm an MGT, which means Muslim Girl Training. And yes, I'm a girl, and I am a girl in training. And what does that training mean? I'm training to be the best woman and best girl that God would have me to be. Now, I'm in the general civilization class. Yeah. What does that mean? That means that I am trying to become civilized, and my job and my duty and my responsibility is to help teach and train other women to become civilized. Wow. And so when we talk about the woman, the second self of God, we are co-creators with God. Now what does that mean? That means we have 2 wombs. We have a womb that we can birth a physical being into this world, and also we have a womb that mentally we use to help propagate the teachings of God himself. And so the black woman has been under attack. And so we as MGT, under the leadership and the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and under Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I must say that I am under the leadership of Minister Robert Muhammad, And he was the one who brought me in. And I remember when I would see him talk in the community and watch the women that were under him and to see how graceful that they were. I wanted to be just like them. But then I would ask him a question, how do I be just like that? He said, just accept your own. Just be yourself and accept your own. Well, what does that mean? That means to be a woman of God. And so when we look at justice or else, yes, we are hearing a lot about the men who are being killed and being shot down on the sidewalks. They're getting just killed like dogs in the street. But what we're not really talking about is the women in this movement. And so I just want to give a voice, if you don't mind, and talk about the women in this movement. All right? So we talk about the 46 chromosomes. That's, you make up a human being, 23 from the man and 23 with the woman. And so we have to have both in order to have balance. And see, what we see right now is there's an imbalance. See, justice means to be fair and to be right and to have righteousness, right? To give what we are due, not just because we're a human being, right? Because that's our human rights. And so when we look at the standard of civilization and what it's measured by the woman. When you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach civilization, you teach a whole nation. And so in order to have a civilization that can rise and be the civilization that God would have us to be, one that is just, right? Then we must focus on the female. That's right. We were given supreme wisdom. We were given the supreme knowledge. And he gave us the supreme knowledge in order to help repair and to reform the black woman of God. And so when you look at me in this headpiece and you look around you and you see headpieces around you, then you're looking at the reformation and the repair of the black woman. So remember, we as women, sisters, we are the measurement, not the brothers, but the women. That's right. And see, 75% of the teachings we are taught is with the woman. Why? Because we are the first teachers. That's right. We are the first teachers of man. That's right. Jesus's and the Moses and the Abrahams and the Farrakhan's and the Brother Roberts and the Brother Fanons, they came from the womb of a woman. Right? And so this movement came from the womb of a woman. Right. Again, we're not talking about a moment, but we're talking about a movement. So we must focus on the woman. Yeah. And so when we talk about the mistreatment of the women, there was a case that Brother Robert just came from Oklahoma, and it didn't get a lot of publicity until he was convicted of raping 13 women. Yeah. Now, he raped 13 women, and this is Daniel Holsclaw, who was a police officer, and he was charged to uphold the law. But what he did is he preyed on the poor and the black woman and the disenfranchised black woman. Why? Because she's undervalued. And he knew that if he raped and he preyed on her and he victimized her, no one was going to listen. But you know what? It's time out for that. It's time out for that. And so although he got 263 years, yes, that is a semblance and a little form of justice. But see, justice will still continue because there was 5 of those women who didn't get justice. Yeah. We didn't even get the benefit of having this to be publicized. Now, we know about our dear sister Sandy, who was killed down the street from us. Right. And so today there's a rally that will take place on her behalf, because we must not forget and we must remember that these women are at the forefront of this movement. That's right. So let me talk about some of the facts that are happening with our black women. The number of women incarcerated has grown by more than 800% over the last 3 decades. And black women and brown women are at the forefront of this. We have over 1 million black women who are either on probation or incarcerated right now. Many women who enter the criminal justice system, about 80% or even more, I would even like to say 100%, have been abused in some form or fashion sexually. And see, when they look at the black woman, they look at her as a sexual object. And see, we are more than just that, because we are the second self of God. And would you look at God as a sexual object? Because when you look at us, you're looking at a God. That's right. Come on. It doesn't just stop with the criminal justice system, but it starts inside of the schools as well. So we have a school to prison, a pipeline industry where these young sisters are going into the sex industry, not willingly, but involuntarily through force. And right now, one of our dear sisters, Sister Kiana, who's working with these sisters in order to help them get justice. Now, we have a lot of pregnant sisters who go incarcerated. And do you know that when she has her baby, she is handcuffed to the bed? Come on. Really? Is this justice? And so when women are released from prison, they face so much discrimination. One, they can't get a job. They can't get any economic help in order to help raise their family. And so a lot of times they have no choice but to go out there. And so when we talk about this movement, we cannot forget about the face of the black woman. We cannot forget about the reformation and the repair of the black woman. There's a book that came out, The National Agenda. And we're taking a second look at this book after the Million Moors March that we had just in October. And I ask everyone to get a copy of this book because it lays out the agenda succinctly of what we must do in order to have justice or else. So let's not forget about the black woman, because a nation can rise no higher than its woman. That's right. Thank you.
A round of applause. And be grateful for our sisters. Man, thank you so much. And I have to mention that she's a part of the organization and program co-founded by her sister Wakiti, Sister Dia, Sister Kiana, Sister Patricia, Sister, who's others? Sister Oshia. It's called Queendom Come. Queendom Come. And they have a beautiful, beautiful program. They did their first sisters conference a couple months ago. And they also inside of the schools empowering our young girls. So if your church or your organization has an opportunity to bring them to your school, to your congregation, to your after school program, you got a child whose school needs them, we want you to invite the Queendom Come program. And the website is Queendom Come.
MyQueendomCome.org.
MyQueendomCome.org. That's MyQueendomCome.org. Let's give Sister Dia another round of applause. And our Sister Wakiti, the director of Elevated Places. Thank you so much. Now, we're going to do a pause for the cause. We got everybody doing all right? Yes, you enjoying your pastries and everything? Good. Nobody. Only one person said it. You enjoying your pastries? Good. We're going to send you an invoice afterwards for every plate that you had. So eat up. Eat up. But we want to thank all of the members of the clergy that are here, all of the community leaders, all of the influencers for taking out the time. Now, there's one person real quick. I recognize his face from somewhere. This brother right here, we went to high school together. Come on, stand up, Jay. You got to stand up. It's Pastor Johnson here. Right. We played basketball together at Forestbrook High School. Our brother is a phenomenal, young, up-and-coming pastor. Now, me being a Muslim, he being a Christian, ain't no beef or separation. We reunited shopping, Brother Robert, at the Black-owned Sunshine Restaurant, ran into each other at Black-owned now. And I reached out to my brother and invited him to come out, man, and I thank him so much for all the work he's doing as a young, empowering, young pastor. And so let's give him a round of applause and all of our pastors that came out today. We thank y'all so much. But that, again, is a display of unity right here. High school friends come together and come together for one cause. So again, as Sister Dia said, today, action item, 'tis the season. The Sandra Bland hearing on the lawsuit that the family filed today at 2 o'clock, that hearing will take place at the federal court at 515 Rush Street. It'll be in court 8A. But at 12 o'clock, the National Black United Front will be having a pre-solidarity rally where they're asking everybody to come out to show love for the family at 12, and then 2 p.m. we're going to pack the courtroom. So you've already heard the message of the importance of us backing our sisters. Now God has blessed us with the immediate opportunity to respond and show love, because we're still asking the question, what happened to Sandra Bland, right? Gotcha. So now our next presenter is, everybody doing all right? You enjoying yourself? Now, don't be mad at me. We got another sister coming up. Another sister. Now, I was blessed to meet this sister via some meetings that Brother Robert had called of artists And he saw the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in Chicago, called the artists together, and he came home immediately to duplicate that. Because we need artists for justice in a day like this. Everybody can pop it, they can make it rain, they can twerk it, but we need some artists that's gonna talk about this revolution.
Everybody knows me from throughout the nation, throughout the world, that are my fan base is cliche. Yeah, it stands, it actually stands for Classified Lady Shade. CL''CHE''. Man, it's just like, so he told me just whatever is on my heart, come on with it. And just listening to everyone that has stood up here and what this fight and this movement is for, and he was telling me it's about taking action. And as he stated, the ARC is what we call the action movement that Minister Robert Muhammad had put into place for us artists locally here in Houston. We've been taking action and we're putting together because we know that a lot of this that's going on is influenced a lot through hip-hop too. A lot is influenced through hip-hop, and a lot of our artists are not even consciously aware of what they're doing. You know, they do it, they're not even doing it for the dollar no more. They're doing it for the fame or the social media fame of it or whatever, because they're not making money from it, because they done shut the industry down where they really trying to let us to make money, but they want us to keep putting those words out there to keep killing ourselves, and we not paying attention as artists. So since this is a Take Action meeting this morning, I want to speak on the action that we've been taking as the local artists of Houston. And this every artist of every caliber, from the ones that they know so-called mainstream to the ones that's in their closet recording their songs. We all came together, like he say, and we had 4 meetings all together. It was over 400 or 500 people. Just being in the entertainment field, whether they was artists, whether they were videographers, we had so many different people that do everything, and that was the key. We had everything have everything in the room that we need to make the moves that we need to make. And my goal is, even as an individual artist and just as a woman, period, as a black woman, is the art that God has, the gift and the art that God has blessed me with, to take that and to make the difference of what the call is for now. You know, so it's about educating a lot of our artists that's out here, being more consciously what we're distributing now, because I try and tell all the artists, what I do tell them and try to get through to them, is that even when you don't want to be a role model, you're one, because someone is listening to you, or somebody is watching you on social media, so you're influencing somebody. So we are taking action in the city of Houston right now under the leadership of Minister Robert Muhammad and Brother K. Reno, who's over the South Park Coalition. It's actually a big movement, and South Park Coalition is probably about, I want to say, we probably about 700 members deep that we don't even know. Just people from around the world that collectively want to be a part of it. Just like they were speaking, there's people that come. That was Brother Eric that was in here, that was saying people that come from a whole nother state that want to be a part of it. So the unity of us coming together from different religions, different walks of life, different backgrounds, different career goals, and different everything, when we come together in unity, it's power in that. Because I'm seeing the difference now, just even with our artists here in Houston, by us coming together from these meetings, that the direction of the mindset of the artists are changing what they're putting out there. So it's making people consciously start thinking like, hey, you know what, we are killing ourselves. That's the trick of the enemy, you know, to make us think, hey, I want to be a superstar, but you got to rap about this, and you got to talk about this. If you ain't talking about this, we're not going to give you this deal, or we're going to take this deal away from you, or this and that. But we got to get out our mind that we don't even need you, because we got everything that we need right now, because y'all using us to make y'all rich, and we killing ourselves. So as artists in Houston, I just want to vouch for the ARC movement that Minister Robert Muhammad had put together with us, that we are taking action, and we are having personal conversations, and the meetings have led us to realize that it's about accountability. Right. Everybody, he structured it like I was eavesdropping over there while you were talking to them, but he was speaking about the only way that we can win is through organization, and we have to organize. And a lot of our artists, you know, after we left some meetings and everybody like, hey, we want to go do this, and trust me, we got some real street people with us, if you know what I mean, and y'all know how we can get, and they get so mad about stuff, and they want to go in and retaliate with their fists, with their guns, with the profanity, and this and that. And I'm listening, and thank God, God bless me with the confidence that I have to step in the middle of my brothers and was like, hey, before we do this, I want to set up a meeting with the minister, and let's kind of strategize and organize what we talking about doing. And he had a chance to witness in the meeting from every different mindset as well. And it's the truth, because even though we're so mad and we get riled up because we're so angry about what's happening and we go and retaliate the wrong way, it's still doing nothing but hurting us. So I think it's very important, and I know it's very important for organizing. In the unity of all of us, I'm looking at, we all different age ranges in here. Some of us in college, some of us ain't never been in college, some of us attorneys, some attorneys, some of us ministers, some of us all different things. But when we all come together, we have everything that we need to conquer the enemy with this war right now, because it is a war. And I just put on my social media, I said, it's a spiritual war that's going on out here now that's grabbing our people that's on this earth to destroy us, but it's this war of the mind.
There you go.
We got a little girl that just jumped out of the back of the bus because she got into it with somebody on it. The mindset is taking over. Guess what? If something is repeatedly coming into our ears, things that we're watching on television all day long, it's disturbing and disrupting the mind. So just the way that they got the multimedia, but we can have it too amongst ourselves, but we have to restructure the mindset of our people and our culture, because our culture even includes more than black people. It's people that live our struggles and live our culture in this hip-hop perspective as well, that their minds is being disrupted as well. So I know with unity and organization and strategizing that we can conquer this. It's going to be a long walk. I understand. I hear what Minister Farrakhan says. It's going to be a lot more bloodshed. It's going to be a long walk. But it starts with us. And when I'm going to say you, because each one has to be accountable. You're not too young, my sister. You know what I mean? You're not too young to start taking accountability now, because you here and you learning something that somebody else ain't got. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? I see you. You. Yes. So please share that with your friends. Don't be scared. Don't hold your voice down when you know they're doing something they got no business doing. Share it with your friends. Spit the word of God. Spit righteousness to them, because we need that. Because we losing the mindsets of the people at all ages, though. But you guys are our next generation, and we got to make way for y'all. I'm standing up here because of that. That little girl right there. I got a 4-year-old little boy, too, out here. And it almost makes us scared, like, to have children now. You know, because, Lord, my child got to grow up in this world. I'm like, hey, whatever we got to do to make it happen. I thank you guys for listening. I'm glad to be called by Brother Jesse Muhammad, being a part of the artists. ARC stands for Artists Respecting Communities, and I'm definitely a part of that. Anybody need cliche for anything this week, y'all please reach out to me. I'm fit to play mama now.
Boycott the paganistic, materialistic practices that go on in the name of Jesus. So he said we want to boycott holiday season spending all the way into the new year. So that's why this campaign we've been pushing is up with Jesus, down with Santa. Why? It's time for us to put Santa in the grave, man. He has taken the place of Jesus, so why is this important? Well, if it was good for Dr. King, he wanted to do it. If Medgar Evers wanted to do it, James Baldwin wanted to do it, Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee, all these people that we say we love and look up to and we quote all the time, if it was good for them, then it's good for us. So we're asking you to get into your pulpits this Sunday. Get into your organizational meetings this Sunday and talk to your congregation about the death and the violence that is going on in our country, in our community, that's all on around, and say, you know what? Dr. King told us, they played a video. He said, you ain't got to talk bad. We ain't got to go shop. We ain't even got to do a die-in. He said, just hold your money. And Chicago gave us the best example of that. They went by and shut it down on Mag Mile, didn't it? And then yesterday a report came out that they're planning to do it on Christmas Eve again in Chicago. What do they know? They know that when you hit them in the hip, and they lost almost nearly 50% of their profit on Black Friday in Chicago. So we're asking you to say this year, up with Jesus, down with Santa. And lastly, as I bring up our next presenter, for those of the clergy that say, well, wait a minute, man, well, what we go do in the place of no gifts? What am I going to tell my children? What's going to take the place of that? Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us this instruction. He said, this year, don't go out shopping. He said, because the best gift you have is looking right at you in the mirror. It's you. He said, the love that you give for your family, yourself, and your people. And he said, this year, tell your children, we're not going to unwrap any gifts. We're going to unwrap our problems on the table, because we all got family problems. That grandmother, that aunt, that cousin that we don't talk to anymore. He said, unwrap those problems on the table, put Jesus at the center, and solve those problems. And he said, watch, you'll have the best Christmas day you ever had. Because if you had that type of love coming out of that with Jesus at the center, you can't even put a value on that. So that's what we're doing. So we're doing economic withdrawal, and we're going to be the gifts this year. And so, as Brother Robert has said, now we do this boycott and keep it going, and it is being successful. Just read Forbes.com. They have a website that says retailers get a lump of coal for Christmas. That's it. So, up with Jesus, down with Santa. Now, we want to bring up our brother here, our Christian pastor. Of course, I was introduced to him based upon the work that he's been doing with our beloved brother Derek Muhammad of Muhammad Mosque number 45. That's right. And in the wonderful display of Christian Muslim unity, how they have forged a beautiful relationship to make an impact in our Houston community. So I believe that it was only so right to bring and invite our brother to say a few words to us about this 'tis the season to take action. So I want you to please receive our beloved brother, Brother Pastor E.A. Decker.
To speak in many places, in many situations, but I'm honored today to be here. I'm honored because you are my brothers and my sisters. Let me be very apologetic. My voice is shot, but probably my message will be strong. And I also want to give you a warning that I received. You know, it's very interesting because I've had the privilege of ministering to several Caucasian churches across the country. For a matter of fact, early in my ministry, Brother Robert, I was elected the youngest person to ever be the chairman of a UBA organization, Union Baptist Association. And I was never been warned about my affiliation or association with my Caucasian brothers. But what's amazing to me is that when I started leaving the four walls of the church and hanging out in the hood to empower and better my brothers, I started receiving warning calls. Brother Pastor, are you sure you want to be seen with those Muslims so often? Brother Pastor, are you sure you want to be walking that throne with Brother Derek so often? I say, Pastor, you mean those Muslims that are standing while you sitting? I say, Brother Pastor, you mean those Muslims that are building the community while you robbing the community? I say, Brother Pastor, you mean those Muslims that are standing for something while we're falling for everything? You mean those Muslims? I've even lately been accused of being a closet Muslim. I called Brother Derek one night and said, how do I get my initiation papers? The strange thing is when you answer the call, you got to be willing to take everything that comes with the call. Let me quote my brother here, Cesar Chavez. He says it like this: we cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and for our own sakes. Too much given, much expected. Come on. I praise God daily. Come on. I don't need to wait to Christmas to honor God, because every day I wake up, I'm blessed. I am a blessed Negro, and I give God praise. But I also understand because of the blessings on my life, I have a responsibility to answer the call on my life. And I decided not to chase the cash, but to chase the call.
Come on now.
So I'm here today. I know I'm preaching to the choir. That's all right. But I want to encourage the choir. I'm going to share real quickly a little story about my brother Nehemiah. Nehemiah was this brother who had a very good position in the system. Nehemiah had what you would call a high-profile position. All of Nehemiah's needs were met. Nehemiah had the proper education. Nehemiah lived in a very good situation. Nehemiah had it going on. Nehemiah was a shot caller and baller. Yet the Bible says Nehemiah's spirit. Nehemiah's spirit was low. So Nehemiah's boss said, why are you low in spirit? You got a fat paycheck. You live in a big house. You in a gated community. You don't have to live around the people in the hood. And Nehemiah said, that's why I'm sad. Nehemiah said, I'm sad because I no longer can relate to my people. Nehemiah said, I'm sad because my people are struggling while I'm dying in final establishment. Nehemiah said, I'm sad because my people are dying in the streets while I'm celebrating about my new biz. Nehemiah said, I'm sad because I got designer clothes on and my people are being undereducated and over-privileged. I'm sad, said Nehemiah.
I see why your voice got me.
Nehemiah said, I'm sad because I got a call on my life. And the call on my life cannot be achieved behind the four walls of the palace. Nehemiah said, I got to get the hell out of here. Understand something here. Nehemiah's call came in what I call some very difficult conditions. See, when God calls you, it's to meet the needs of others. Not to fulfill your own needs. That's why history records in the worst of times, great leaders rise up. Moses was called in a bad time. Dr. King was called during bad times. I made a decision not to talk about how bad times are, but to answer the call. Join in with my brother, and I say my brother from a different mother, to join in and walk the streets of Houston and declare no more bloodshed. But I also drop by to challenge you, find a call on your life. But you can't find a call whining, complaining, and blaming. Many see the need. Many see the negative conditions but refuse to answer the call. But I believe I have a call on my life to talk to the underdog. Because I too was once the underdog, but thank God for the grace and mercy on my life. When I discovered the call, I discovered the call in a difficult time of my life. But God says, I have chosen the underdog to lead the nation. Anybody here ever felt that way? That maybe you were like David. They had a party at your house and they didn't even invite you to your own house. Do you realize that when David was anointed king, they were trying out some other brothers? They didn't even see enough in David to include David in the ceremony. They didn't even give him an evaluation. They had already deducted and concluded you are not worthy. Yet the power of God fell on David. And I dropped by to tell you today there's somebody in this room, some young black girl, some young black boy, they may have called you a thug, may have told you you're going to be like your no good daddy, may have told you your life has no value, no significance. I'm coming to tell you, the anointing of God is getting ready to fall on you. God's going to place a call in you, and that call is going to drive you to a level of greatness. Not greatness on man's standards, but greatness on God's standards. The walls had fallen down, and Nehemiah wanted to rebuild the walls. So I say rebuild. And if we look around, we see our walls have fallen down. Turn on local news if you don't believe me. The walls have fallen down. Crime, drugs, gang, race issues, police brutality, money problems, broken families, broken school system, broken lives, broken dreams, broken communities. The walls have fallen down, and the walls had fell down then because of a war zone. And don't be tricked nor bamboozled. You are living in a war zone. For a matter of fact, we're fighting a war on two fronts. They're trying to kill us while we're killing one another. Can I be real in here? I'm not as afraid of the white man in a blue uniform as I am some black brothers on some street corners. So we must leave our sanctuaries. We must leave our mosques, and we must join together, answer the call, and fight the enemy on every front.
Come on now.
T. Come on.
I saw a little baby.
Come on, T.
You stand up, young man. You stand up. With your handsome black self.
Yes, sir.
I walk the streets so you can one day walk the streets without looking behind your back.
Come on now, come on now.
I walk the streets so one day you can walk down the street and without worry about somebody snatching you and grabbing you, because you are a beautiful queen and you have the right to live in a kingdom with no fear. Pray my voice come back.
Come on.
But I gotta tell you, I gotta warn you with the call that comes to things. The call will drive you.
Come on, T.
The call will drive your activities. The call will drive your calendar. The call will drive your agenda. And the call will drive what you say yes to and no to. I can no longer spend time on the golf course. The call says no.
Come on now, come on now.
I can no longer spend time trying to work my way into the country club. The call says no.
Come on.
The call dictates my agenda. When I woke up this morning, body aching and head aching, the call said, "But you gotta rise up and do." The call will keep you up at night. That's why Dr. King had a dream. The call will keep you up at night. Brother Robert, you can't sleep well at night when the call has you.
Yeah, we know.
The call will keep you up at night.
Come on.
The call will push the best out of you. When you answer the call, you will discover that unique gift that God placed inside of you that has been dormant, that has been suffocated. When you answer the call, and I thank God for technology, I thank God for YouTube and Periscope and all that stuff. Sometimes I rehear myself saying, where did that come from? When did I get that smart? When did I become that much? Because the call will make you smarter than you've ever been before. The call will give you wisdom that school will give you. The call will have you saying stuff you never heard your mama nor daddy say. For a matter of fact, the call will have you being different and peculiar.
Go ahead, preacher.
Call. But watch this. This separates the boys from the men. Come on. The call will also bring out challenges and critics. If you can't handle being challenged and criticized, you can't handle the call.
That's right. Come on.
Teach.
Come on.
I realized how mature I had become when a group of pastors, Campbell, were having a breakfast and my name came up. And one guy said, Declan's doing so well, yada, yada, yada. The pastor said, the heck with Declan. He ain't doing nothing but chasing camels. For a matter of fact, he's killing his poor grandmother because he's in some Muslim class and he ain't told about yet because the money ain't right yet. And when I first got the report, Brother Robert, I'm from Fifth Ward now. When they first told me what was being said about me, I said, Brother Derek, I know we're doing peace walks. But is it okay if I assign somebody to strap up? But then the Spirit of God said, no, I put too much on you.
Come on, T.
And you can't afford to get out of character because somebody won't understand the call. For a matter of fact, if your call, Jamel, is not being challenged nor criticized, maybe you can check your call. Because every call from God has man criticizes and everybody saying amen. Maybe your call. That was this wise crack. He He came to Jesus and said, who is my brother? Because you know Jesus did say, you know, love your brother, help your brother, be your brother's keeper. So the wise guy said, well, who is my brother? Who is my neighbor? Jesus broke it down to a parable, just like that. Jesus says to the young boy, he says, well, that was a brother that was beaten, robbed, and left on the side of the road. Half dead. Have you ever been down the streets of Homestead lately? Sunnyside, South Park, South Houston, Greenspoint. There are a bunch of brothers and sisters on the side of the road, half dead. You know what happened was one guy came by, he saw him, he went the other direction.
Come on.
Priest, I would not sit in a church nor a mosque
Come on.
where the priest would turn the other cheek to somebody that's half dead, but to turn and went the other way. So another man came along and saw the same brother, and he, well, I gotta be about the schedule, I gotta be about the business, I got a very important agenda I gotta get to. If your agenda is not about building up people, you got the wrong agenda. But then the Bible says, I forgot where it was for a second. The Bible says this good Samaritan,
Come on.
he came along the way.
Right.
And the Bible says this good Samaritan saw the brother with the need. Come here, brother.
Come on.
Hey, come here, brother. Come here. And he sees the brother and he grabs the brother by the hand. He said, I don't know you and I don't know where you come from, but I see you have a need. And the Lord has blessed me richly, and to much given, much expected. So the brother says, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to lift you up, and I'm going to put you on my mule. And I'm going to carry you to the nearest hospital. And when we get to the hospital, I'm not going to just drop you off like they've been doing all your life. But I'm going to stay in partnership with you, and relationship with you. And I'm going to pay the bill and pay the tab. So when I leave, I'm really not leaving. Because when I leave, I'm just taking care of a little business. But I'll be back to check on you again. I'll be back to make sure you're all right. I won't leave you. I won't just preach to you on Sunday morning. But I'll walk with you. I won't just on Sunday morning. I'll walk with you. I'll get you when you're in the hospital. I gotta carry you for a little while. I'll carry you for a little while. I am the good Samaritan. And I'll answer the call.
Let's give Pastor E.A. Decker a round of applause for our word today. Here's the season to take action, man. The calling. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, come on, Pastor and Brother Derek, come on forward, please. Stop the violence. No more bloodshed. Let's say it together. No more bloodshed. 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 So this Saturday is the 5th Stop the Violence Peace Walk at 1 p.m. on the northeast side. It's going to be at the rallying point of Homestead and Tidwell at the Food Value Store, which has no food that has value. Yeah, we only used to steal 9 ladies from over there. That's a 9600 block of Homestead and Tidwell. Also, we want you to join the Facebook group, No More Bloodshed, that is started by the mothers of the slain, the parents of the slain, who have been deeply inspired by this movement. So again, this Saturday, we want to see you all out there at the No More Bloodshed, Stop the Violence Peace Walk. Let's give Brother Derek and Pastor E.A. Decker a round of applause for showing us what unity can produce. Thank you, Pastor. I think you gained your voice more the more you start preaching. So with that, we're going to close out now with our student regional representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who will give us our closing words, and then we'll say some announcements. And then we ask that you fellowship with one another, talk to one another. If you got something going on, pass it on to others. And also, the Shrine has opened up the bookstore so you can see what books and items that they have. So if you're in the boycott mood, you can go ahead down there and buy some books later on today. So with that, I want you all to please receive our beloved brother who's been on this post for about 3 decades, working in this mission. Please receive the student regional representative of the Honorable Minister.
There is no God but Allah, bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you once again. Assalamu alaikum. Dear brothers and sisters, oft times when preachers particularly get together, they're so full of vanity, they try to out-preach the next preacher. That's not our job. This isn't about vanity. This is about appreciating what God has given in each and every one of us. This is not a performance. This is about the freedom of our people. You give Pastor E.A. Decker a round of applause. When it comes to doing the work of God, it's not competition.
That's right.
It's about complementing one another. It's about being a Rolls Royce backcourt.
Yeah.
Somebody got to bring the ball up.
That's right.
Somebody got to shoot. Somebody got to set a pick. Somebody got to give assists. Somebody's got to play defense.
That's right.
And somebody's got to foul somebody. When you come down the lane, they got to make an example out of you so that they'll know that you just don't go to the hole and think you want to lay up and get it easy. All of us have a role and a responsibility.
That's right.
I also want to recognize Dr. Kenneth Campbell, who's from the North Side, one of our great pastors and preachers and leaders. This is another one of the brothers who understands that Ishmael and Isaac are brothers.
That's right.
And when it came to taking care of the family business in Genesis 25 to come and bury their father Abraham, they came together.
That's right.
And right now, brothers and sisters, we're burying our women and our children. And our community is in utter chaos. Let me wrap this all up by simply saying this. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan came, it was in the 90s, I can't remember the exact year. Brother Shaka Sankofa, Gary Graham, death row inmate 696, was about to be executed. And it was at the time that Governor Ann Richards was the governor of the state of Texas. Governors are allowed to give one stay of execution while it goes through the appeals court. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan was invited to come down. He was kind of the last minute to come down and to address us at the Hyatt Hotel downtown. That's all coming back to me. We went to pick him up at the airport. And going to pick him up at the airport, his plane came in, but we went to the wrong terminal. So we had to hustle and do what we had to do to go and pick him up. We got to him, we got him, put him in the car, and as he was in the car with me driving to our location, he said, you know, brother, I want to remind you that Dr. King came to Memphis for the garbage workers. Yes. He said, I'm here for our brother who is on death row. He said, but I want to remind you of something, brother. He says, disorganized love can be overcome by organized hate. Look out, look out. We, brothers and sisters, though people of color, people of consciousness, are in the majority. We're disorganized. And though we claim, and I believe in my heart, that we are good, but we're disorganized.
Right. All right. Right.
And then there are a small minority. They may have money, but they're still a minority. And their agenda is selfish. It's about them. It's not about the people. It's about I, me, and mine. It's not about us, our, and we. They're in the minority. Their agenda to me is evil, but they are organized. So you and I, being an organized lovers and disorganized in the minority, we are being bandied about and pushed about by the winds of economic, political, and social change that we seem to have no power over.
Right.
The plan always was from the beginning, brothers and sisters. You didn't see it, but God blessed me and others to see what was going on in this city. Bill King, who came a hillbilly's heartbeat away from being the mayor of the city of Houston, ran for the mayor of the city of Houston in the Houston Chronicle for nearly 2 years. But you and I don't read that section. We read the sports section. We read the horoscope section. We may read the front page and then we put it down. But he was in the editorial and opinion section constantly writing about public policy. And those who are public policy wonks were reading it and having their mind filtered that this is an independent kind of fiscal conservative that's going to bring us back to basics. Basics? What kind of basics? Basics. Basics to you and I may not be basics to what he and that small evil minority had in mind. So, what was the plan? The plan was to divide the black community. Because we're emotional. And because there are things that we don't talk about in our community. We don't talk about rape and incest.
All right.
Notice I got a couple all right.
You're right.
That's something we don't talk about.
You're right.
We don't talk about rape and incest in our community. We don't talk about mental health in our community.
You're right.
Come on. We don't talk about it. And so because we don't talk about it, we go to the family reunion and we see Uncle Bubba over there, and we see our little daughter, Denise, getting ready to walk over to Uncle Bubba. Come here, baby. Uncle, no, come here, baby. No. Don't sit on Uncle Bubba's lap.
That's right. Come on now.
It's not proper for little girls to be sitting on men's laps, but particularly Uncle Bubba, because we know Uncle Bubba did something to Auntie, but the family never talked about it.
All right.
Come on.
Sure right.
See, we don't talk about these things. We don't talk about mental health. These are things, are conversations we don't have. And we don't talk about homosexuality.
That's right. You're right.
Just something we just Auntie and them funny and Uncle's funny, just leave that alone. So the enemy knows and plays on our emotions. These people have a psychological profile on us because a Negro is made in the USA. Check your label.
You're right.
All the killing that we do and the pathologies that's in the community, whether it's the black, whether it's the Latino or the Native American, brothers and sisters, pull out the label and you'll see made in the USA. So they know us because we're their product. Right. So here we are. They know. So they say this hero ordinance, even though it's 15 protected classes in the hero ordinance, meaning that if you were Muslim or Jew or Sikh or Hindu or female or whatever, Native American, Latino, if you were discriminated against, you could take it to state district court instead of going to federal court for your discrimination. But they included the LBGT community, and because the mayor at this time was so focused on the T community, she threw the LBGs under the bus because they wanted the transgender. That's how it all started. It started with a transgender woman, man, I don't know what it was, but she got arrested, he got arrested in a female bathroom, and she put forth an executive order. Then it became an ordinance, and then it went to court, and then they said you got to put it on the ballot. When they put it on the ballot, then they showed you men going in the woman's bathroom, and they manipulated it because most of us have been taken off, both male and female, with incest, and they tied in predators with transgender. But let me tell you, most predators are heterosexual. They're not transgender, they're not confused.
You're right.
So they had us in all that emotion. Then the West Side preachers bought off our preachers. Some of them, not these ones that's here today, and others.
Come on.
And then they divided our community. And it was said that if you endorse the hero ordinance, we will vote against you. So, dear brothers and sisters, in spite of all the endorsements and all the record that we have of Sylvester Turner's good work,
Listen.
and we agree with 9 out of 10 things that he endorsed and is a part of, we were throwing him under the bus because of that one thing.
That's right.
Dividing the black community because the Latinos unfortunately don't vote. So it really boiled down to black and white thing. And in the end, it was Fort Bend County in southwest Houston that delivered it by 4,000 votes.
That's right.
4,000 votes.
That's right. Unbelievable.
But what good is it having a black mayor, the second black mayor, if you and I don't have an agenda?
You're right. You're right.
What's our agenda? Here was the knock on the present mayor. What has he done for us in 20 years? The question I always put to everybody was, what did you ask him to do? Name me 5 things that we put in writing and put before him and said, these are the things we want you to do in the state legislature, state representative. We don't have a lobby. We don't have an agenda. We just got emotions and we're personality driven.
You're right.
The Honorable Louis Farrakhan says politics without economics is simple without substance. So putting black faces in high places doesn't mean anything if you don't get that which politics is supposed to deliver for you, goods and services for your community.
Yeah.
So from this local organizing committee, we're going to take social action. We're going to do the things we're going to do. And we're going to have operational unity, which means unity without uniformity.
That's right.
It means you go preach in your church what you preach in your church. I'm going to preach in the mosque what I preach in the mosque. But when we step out of that mosque, you're subject to be robbed, you're subject to be robbed, and I'm subject to be robbed. Our women are subject to be raped and abused. And if we don't come together and take back the streets,
Right.
come on, and brothers and sisters, we don't have no hope or no help.
You're right.
So I wrap this up by simply saying this. I want to let you know from the depths of my heart that this is the community is the cornerstone. But we cannot leave out the Latino community and we cannot leave out the Native Americans.
Right.
I just said return from Oklahoma, which is Indian territory. There are more Native Americans in Oklahoma than anywhere else in the United States. 39 tribes have been driven there or dumped there as they stole the land from America.
Right.
And don't you ever think that we, as the people who were kidnapped from Africa, will ever come up without recognizing and loving and appreciating the people whose land they stole. People that come to the African continent, and they set up a trading post in the jungle, and they wind up manipulating and bamboozling us to where they stole us from Africa, the same way the Native American welcomed them here, because in their teepee ceremony and in their sweat lodge ceremony, whoever comes through the mouth or the key of that teepee or that door is welcome regardless of creed, class, or color. So they're welcoming in, they didn't know they welcomed in devil themselves. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. And so we have the same common enemy.
Right.
But now we, brothers and sisters, Master Fard Muhammad, the teacher of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, used this kind of language with us because he wanted to be kind and gentle to us. But brothers and sisters, we've been made into black devils. But he used the language of we're acting other than ourselves. Well, if there's only 2 things in the universe, God and the devil. If you acted other than yourself and you accept your own and be yourself and yourself is God, you acting other than yourself, then what do you act?
It's all right. That's right.
So we have all been blind. We've been touched by the blinding touch of Satan.
That's right.
Satan is a devil maker. And now it's time that we go to war with the beast. The beast within, and the beast without. The peace walks are the start. But we have to institutionalize it. We have to spread it across the country. We got to give them the template on how to do it. Sister Ayana, Miss Sally from Girls and Boys Prep, we need your voice now. We know that you have been mourning the loss of our great brother, Brother Latif, your husband, your companion, your friend, your lover, the father of your children. But we need your educational mind now, because we need a new educational paradigm that will educate our children and take them to a whole nother level in his name and in the name of the God that he served. We need you today. We're glad to see you here, and we thank God for you coming out today. And so I want to say, as this my swan song, come on up. I see you tipping up here, Brother Jesse. Brother Eric, where did he go? He said, man, Brother Robert talking take too long. Come on up here. You all. Sister Sadia, come on up.
Come on.
Sister Cliche, come on. Brother Derek, where are you? Get your ball head up here. Get your ball head up here. Let me help you understand something. Whatever it is that God bless you to be the steward over, love that institution enough to find your replacement.
All right. That's right. Good.
The enemy knows now. He can come get me. But if he gets me, he's got to go deep. So my bench is deep now.
That's right.
And my bench isn't just so-called Muslims. This is a born-again, in the blood, baptized, dipped in the water Christian over here, but she's a rapper and a hip-hop in them streets. Praise be to Allah. Our elevated places stand up.
Come on.
Sister Wakiti has the elevated places school to stand up. Our young students, you won't have to go deep. Now, brothers and sisters, all of this was organized through the local organizing committee. Brother Derek and Pastor Deckard are fulfilling something that I always wanted to do, Campbell, was to have Christian-Muslim unity. I walk with so many pastors. I got so many 9 marks in my back from walking with some of these jokers. When I see you two walking together, it just brings tears to my eyes. That's why I push you out front. And if I'm asked to say something at the end, which they always regret, they say, oh, here you go. But, no, they don't regret. But I'm saying to see them doing this means everything to me, because it's, listen to me, Nation of Islam, I want us to, mosque. Let me get this straight as I go to my seat. The Nation of Islam is the birthplace of an idea. The Nation of Islam and the way that we've chosen to live our life and our lives is a choice we made voluntarily.
That's right.
We are the tip of the spear of a vanguard movement towards independence and liberation, because in the end, we're going to do everything. We're going to vote, we're going to do economics, we're going to go through the court system, we're going to do everything we can, but in the end, God is going to separate us from these people.
That's right. That's it.
But our separation is not going to be Muslims only.
No, sir.
We're going to come to a conclusion. We're going to have a meeting among black people, and we're going to make a decision whether we want to live with these people in peace or not. And that decision may be that we want to separate from them and have a territory of our own, like the Native Americans are sovereign. We just tired. We don't want to mess with you all no more, because our interaction with you has not been just, fair, or equitable. But the Nation of Islam is not just Muslims.
Right.
The Nation of Islam is not just the mosque.
Right.
The Nation of Islam is all of our people, including the 2 million Indians and the Latinos. The Latinos are just Native Americans or Native Americans in this hemisphere that speak Spanish.
Right.
They just got to come to know who they are too.
Right.
But we have to sit down and have a discussion about how we want to live our lives and how we want to pass this on to our children. So we must now expand our thinking beyond the mosque,
Right.
and formulate the LOC and make sure that it's inclusive of all of our faith traditions and some people who have no faith in terms of a faith tradition, but want justice for our people and to live together in harmony and in peace. So I close out now. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for coming out and honoring us this morning. Let's go down there, let's rally for Sandra Plan, those of us who can go. And I thank Allah for Brother Derek, Brother Jesse, the LOC, Sister Dia, and everyone who helped put this together, and students from Texas Southern University. And of course, thank you to our fine host, the Shrines of the Black Madonna Cultural Center and Event Center. Thank you so much for honoring us and for us coming together. And may Allah continue to bless you, brothers and sisters. And